Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Happy Thursday to you all. It is my favorite day of the week, guys, and I hope that it is someone else's favorite as well, so I don't feel so out of place. But even if there isn't, even if there's no one else that feels the same, it's totally fine. But again, happy Thursday. I hope that you're having a great day today, whether your day is just beginning, in the middle, or towards the end. I hope that it's going fantastically and that you feel like you are so excited for the weekend, for whatever you have planned. Maybe you have some sort of fall plans or some spring plans if you're in the southern hemisphere. This weekend we're supposed to go to the pumpkin patch. I'm very, very excited for it. So I hope you have something to look forward to so you can work hard today and then tomorrow, and then you're on your weekend. Hopefully, if you have a traditional work schedule. If you don't, then whatever your weekend is, even if it's right now, I hope that it's fantastic. I hope that you're having a genuinely good day. And if you're having a hard day, I always encourage everyone to do the 5-minute reset, which is to take at least 5 minutes to be by yourself. If you have more time, take more time. But if you do not, just take at least 5 minutes to reset, reboot, restart, come back to baseline, and kind of start your day over again. You are welcome to do this as many times as you need during the day, week, month, or year. It is up to you, and it's your choice to make to restart your day so that you can enjoy the rest of it and make the most out of the rest of it. Your 5-minute reset gives you the opportunity also to problem solve if you're dealing with any problems head on with someone else. So if you are able to problem solve and come back with a resolution the next time that you have to face that person or speak with them about the issue, then hopefully you can just offer your resolution and then move forward with your life. Wouldn't that be great? Also, it gives you an opportunity to take a break from any issues, problems, anxieties, stressors, any burdens that you have been carrying around that are dragging you down, that are contributing to your feeling of riding that struggle bus. Take a break from those. Just kind of take a breath, deep breaths, breathe, close your eyes, do some meditation if you are into that, and just genuinely take a full mental, physical break. I also always encourage everyone to create a list of at least 4 items that you are grateful for. That can be big items, small items, medium size. You can be grateful that you were able to get some new plants from the store. Maybe you were successful in building new IKEA furniture. That is always a victory for anyone. Maybe you discovered a new recipe that you made for a certain kind of dish or protein that you really enjoy. That's great. Or maybe you were able to get up early and get some extra things done and you feel accomplished and like the day was well spent. That's something to be grateful for as well. It doesn't matter what it is, you can be grateful for it. And then last but not least, make sure that you're feeling at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of your day, because despite what you're going through, after you're making your gratitude list and taking a quick mental break, you should be able to be in the mindset and have a different perspective on the fact that you have amazing things to focus on that are going right in your life. And I'm not here to diminish your problems, but anything negative that you are trying to work through and push through, it's much easier to endure that time if you are able to focus more on the positive things that are happening in your life. However, I do genuinely hope that you're having a great day on this Thursday. Just a reminder that this week we are talking about trauma, and today, Thursday, we're going to specifically talk about reminders for trauma survivors. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. Today's episode is going to be pretty simple. I just want to chat with you about some comforting reminders for those of us that have gone through trauma, or possibly something you could say to someone you know is suffering from past or current traumas. I only have 9 reminders for you guys today, and it's going to be a pretty quick episode. I will elaborate a little bit on each one and why I find it's important or helpful, but these are just things, again, that you can say to yourself. If you are close enough and comfortable with the person that is going through the trauma and the struggle, you can maybe say it to them or weave it into the conversation, or offer it to them for something for them to say to themselves, or create it as an affirmation for them to do. So all of those are great options, and hopefully These will be good reminders for you to have in the back of your mind. I always encourage you, if you are going to create affirmations, to tell yourself on the regular that you find some sort of way to notate it, whether it's in your phone as a reminder or just in a list that you look at every day. Maybe you want to write it on Post-it notes and post it in your office or somewhere in your room. Write it on a mirror, post it on the fridge, or some sort of pin board, whatever it is. Find some place that you're able to review it every day or every few days, however often that you would need that kind of encouragement and motivation, so that it'll just continually burn into your mind, and it'll just be something you can recall from memory to encourage you and help you in that time. So the first thing I want to remind you of is that your trauma matters. No matter if you know someone else that has gone through something you consider worse, yours still matters, and it is very important. This is true. Even if no one knows about your trauma, it still matters. And you deserve a space to talk about it, and if you choose to. So don't let anyone tell you different. Your trauma matters. I know a lot of times, especially in this life, we can spend a lot of time comparing ourselves to other people. So whether it's we're comparing like what we look like, what we do, how much money we make, how successful we are, or even the bad things of like how much trauma and pain and struggles that we've gone through, and how high we have risen and how well we have risen from the ashes of those traumas. But I encourage you to not compare the things that you've gone through to someone else, because let's say that someone has gone through something that seems in your mind less than what you have endured, but it's possible that theirs could have been a lot harder for them to get through, because we are all at a different state in life and in a different season, and we all have different amounts of strength and ability, and maybe that person just wasn't equipped to be able to function and move through the recovery process of that trauma as quickly as maybe you could have, and that is why you are strong enough to endure the thing that you are currently going through or have gone through. So just to put a spin on that, you don't want to compare yourself to anyone else, whether you're saying that theirs is worse or yours is worse. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I don't know why it would matter. It's not a contest of who has endured most. And if that is the point that you have gotten to, you really, really, I encourage you to take a step back. I know I'm sounding a little aggressive, but take a step back and change your perspective on that, because that should not be a contest at all whatsoever. We should be encouraging and helping each other through the traumas and struggles we're going through, not comparing and trying to measure up and give a crown to whoever has the worst life. That's just dumb. The next one is, you are allowed to struggle. You do not have to measure up to anyone else's or even your own high expectations, no matter how long ago your trauma was. So it's important to know that even if your trauma happened like 20 years ago, it's still okay for you to struggle. It's still okay for you to have hard days. It's still okay for you to be able to struggle with triggers, whether or not you are on a recovery journey. So let's say you are in a recovery journey, you see someone for counseling, you have a protocol and has certain things that you do to help yourself become stronger. But that doesn't mean you aren't going to slip up. That doesn't mean that a trigger isn't going to hurt you really hard or just kind of surprise you in an environment that's new to you, or maybe it's not even new to you. So it's okay. Just you have to know that you don't. It's okay to struggle. And if you have this expectation of yourself that you need to be perfect, and you can't struggle or you can't slip at all, I would really encourage you to not have that expectation of yourself. And if you feel like other people in your life have that expectation of you, they're just super high expectations and they just want you to like never complain, never be hurt anymore, just be happy-go-lucky all the time, I would encourage you to have a conversation with them if you feel comfortable with that. If you don't, you might want to put some distance between you and that person, because that's not healthy, nor will it help you grow and flourish and become your best self at all, because it's okay to struggle, because everyone struggles with something, and don't let anyone tell you different. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to have a hard time, and it doesn't matter if your trauma happened yesterday, last week, or 20 years ago. It's still valid. The next one is, you're not alone. There are other people out here struggling and going through difficult times, so you don't have to be awkward about your own struggles. this is something that most people know. It's a reminder that's out there in bulk for sure, but it's important to remind yourself that you're not alone. You're not the only person that has ever struggled from what you have struggled from, probably, like most likely. And yes, you might have to search the world far and wide to find someone else that has experienced it if it's something that is very unique. However, just know that you're not alone, and you're not alone in the fact that you're struggling with something, that you're having a hard time, that you don't know what kind of help you need, you don't know how to get on that road to recovery, you don't know what to do, and that's fine. You're not alone in that. And if you want to seek out and ask someone that you're close to, ask someone that, or maybe you just need to call one of the help hotlines. They're super helpful. You can even just text them and ask them questions, and they're not super they don't super try to like dive into exactly what's going on unless you're willing to talk about it. And the best part about those kind of things is that if you're done with the conversation, you can just be done with the conversation with no hard feelings. So I encourage you to just know that you're not alone, and if you need help, you can reach out for help and get whatever you need to assist you in the road of recovery that you are on. The next one is what happened was not your fault or what you deserved. So I wanted to make sure that I added both of these together. It's not your fault. It's not what you deserved. Because a lot of times we will blame ourselves for trauma that has happened, regardless of whether we were involved in what happened or not. So you might feel like you are at fault because, you played some sort of minor part in it or a major part or whatever it is. And even if you did, it doesn't mean that it's your fault, I mean, you can take the responsibility that you need to take if that is there for you to take it, if you have to, if that's what you should be doing, but it doesn't mean it's your fault, and it also doesn't mean that you deserved it. We all make mistakes. We all wander off the path many times, sometimes we get distracted and sometimes we get misguided. So it's important to remember that it's okay. You did not deserve the bad, terrible things that you've gotten. God has equipped you to be able to move and break through those things and recover and become a stronger person on the other end. And he's not going to give you more than you can handle. But just know that you didn't necessarily deserve these bad things. No one deserves to have bad things happen to them. But we do live in a world that is full of sin and just struggles, problems, lessons to be learned, especially if we're hard-headed like me, I understand. So just know that even if you played a part in whatever trauma happened, you are not at fault. You can take the responsibility that you need to take, but you're still not at fault, and you did not deserve what happened to you. You just have to believe that. The next one is you don't need permission to exist. I know this one doesn't seem necessarily directly related to trauma, but it is, because sometimes we will go through traumatic events and feel like we are not worthy of being alive anymore, being on this earth, because we are taking fault or feel like we deserved what happened to us, what I was talking about before, and we just don't feel like we can be redeemed. We don't feel like we can start again. And I want you to know, or they might be fearful of people shutting us out, or people have shut us out because of what happened or what we are involved in. And I want you to know that you don't need permission to exist. We all have a rightful place here in this world, and God has placed you here for a reason. So you just have to look to him and ask him for that reason, and continue to have hope and believe that you will be able to push through this season of life and become stronger on the other end. I know it sounds cliche, but it's something that you should truly believe. It's something that I truly believe in my heart of hearts. And it's something that you have to actually embrace and realize that you will become stronger on the other end, whether you realize it happening right now or not. In hindsight, you for sure will realize it. But yeah, you do not need permission to exist. You're here for a reason. Please do not take your own life or hurt yourself intentionally believing because you've been casted out or you've been pushed away from groups of people or your family or whatever it is, or you've lost your family and now you feel alone. No, just know that we need you here. We need you. The next one is it's okay to have bad days, weeks, or months. Healing isn't linear. So, just again, as I was talking about before, it's okay to struggle and it's okay to have bad days. It's okay to have bad weeks and months and years, I feel like a lot of people can consider 2020 a really bad year. And then there's other people that will consider 2020 as some of the worst weeks or months of their lives, and then some of the best. For me, it's a mixture of more like good things happening and then struggle bus things happening, and then it's just like kind of up and down for me, but maybe you have experienced much harder, worse things that have put you in more pain, and there weren't necessarily opportunities open for you this year, and that's fine. It's okay. It's okay to have those bad days and weeks and months and years, and healing isn't linear. It isn't just like, okay, once you get all the recovery pieces in line, you're going to counseling, you're reading books, you're listening to podcasts, you're doing meditation, you have your daily affirmations, and it doesn't mean that you continue to do those. It's going to be all sparkly, shiny cupcakes and rainbows from there. No, it's going to be like, you're doing great, and then you're doing mediocre, and then you're doing terrible, and then you're doing great, and then you're doing terrible. And it's just going to be up and down all around the town, and it's just not linear. It's just not. And as amazing as it would be if it was, it would be so much easier to heal, but it's not. And also there's other learning lessons that you have to endure and embrace in your healing journey. Which is why it has to go up and down and all around. So just know it's okay to have bad days. Don't let anyone tell you. Like, I am definitely someone that preaches positivity and having a positive mindset and focusing in on the positive things, but I also can admit and understand that you can still have a bad day. You can still have a bad day and still force yourself to use the skill of focusing in on positive things to help get you through the day, to help get you through the rest of the day or the rest of the week or the month, because you already know ahead of time that it's probably going to be kind of tough and crappy, but you're still harnessing that positivity that's deep inside of you. So you can have both. I totally believe that. The next one is there shouldn't be any shame in asking for help. If you need help from friends or family or coworkers or a counselor, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in asking and reaching out for help and assistance. There's no shame in having to have that assistance forever, for a long time, for years and years and years. I've been in counseling for years and years, and I'm sure someone would probably come up to me and be like, haven't you, learned everything by now? Haven't you gotten every recovery strategy you could by now? No, I haven't. And I've actually been through several different counselors, and it's it's shifted me up to different levels in my recovery and in how I think about things and how I manage my mindset and the mental health struggles that I currently have. And it's definitely gotten better and better and better, but I'm not going to be fully better, and I don't know that I will be fully better. I can't predict when that time will be, and it's okay if it takes you a long time. It's okay if it takes you longer than everyone else, and it's okay if you feel like you're going to be in therapy for the rest of your life, because at least you're doing something good for yourself. At least you're working on yourself. At least you're putting in the time and the initiative to do what you know will help you in the long run, and that's okay. Our second to last one is you have the right to acknowledge your feelings without having to justify those feelings. When I wrote this sentence in my notes, I was telling myself, dang, Sabrina, you truly believe that and you want to live and breathe that. However, sometimes you make people justify their feelings. And it's generally people that are like close to me, and it really was like an eye-opener, kind of like a slap in the face for me to remind myself that I need to stop trying to push people to justify their feelings. And it's more like, for me, it's like I have the drive and need to know why for everything. And it's a bad habit, because I'm just like, well, why? Why do you feel that way? Well, how did you get there? Well, how did you get to that train of thought? Well, what's going on? And it's a bad habit that I just want to admit to you guys that, yeah, I need to. And if you're in that struggle too, then hey, I hear ya. To not force people to justify their feelings. Like, we don't have to. You have the right to acknowledge that you have these feelings, but you don't have to justify them. Just know that, believe that, try to repeat that to yourself, repeat it to yourself so that you don't do it to other people, and you'll feel so much stronger and know that your feelings are valid whether you want to explain them or not, and you don't have to explain them. The last one I want to mention is you're allowed to opt out of overwhelming environments, events, happenings, parties. It's important to know this because with those environments, parties, events, triggers can come and they can be there. And so let's say that you go to one of these events and parties and you suddenly realize there are like triggers everywhere. People are having certain kind of conversations. There's things that remind you of what happened. There's someone there that reminds you or triggers you. And it's okay. It's okay to take a step back and realize I can't be here right now. Or maybe you go to an event and it's fine. In the middle of it, you discover, I can't go there right now. Or even before it happens and you find out more information about it. This is usually what I do. I'm just like, who's going to be there? What's going to happen? This, that, and the other. And some people hate it that I ask all these questions, but I'm like, listen, I need the deets. I need the deets so I don't freak out at the event and then I get stuck there if I go with someone else, which is a lot of times why I go to places on my own, and I could just have an exit strategy. That's truly what it's about. Even my husband knows this when we go to certain friends' house, because sometimes I'm just like, oh, I can't even bear to be in my own skin that day, let alone be with other people that I truly enjoy and love and care for. So anyway, I just want you to realize and know that, yeah, you can opt out of those events if you feel like they're not going to be healthy for you, if they're not going to make you stronger, if they're not going to help you in any way, if they're going to cause you to feel even worse. However, the thin line here is just to realize and watch yourself and make sure that you're not opting out of every single event. Just because you don't want to go, or because you have fear and super high anxiety and stress about it, that you might want to speak with someone about, and then kind of find that even balance of you to start doing that. Even if you just go to these events for like a good like half hour, and then you go out and then you leave, and then you continually up your time that you're at these events until if and when any triggers or issues arise from it. So anyway, just know that you can opt out of events like that are overwhelming. It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay, you guys, well, that's it. That's all I got for today's episode. So thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, my name is Sabrina, and I'm so happy that you decided to join me and listen to this episode. Thank you so much. Your guys' support of sharing the podcast, listening to the podcast, downloading the podcast is amazing, and I really appreciate it so much, because this is so much of my heart. So anyway, check the description box for notes for the show, where you can find me on Instagram, which is at Sabrina Joy Perozzo, or at Real Positive Girl Podcast. Also, my email address for any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, just to say hi, whatever you want. And that's it. But I hope you come back tomorrow, where we'll talk about being able to overcome triggers and general tips for overcoming trauma that has happened to you recently or in the past. But until then, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.